Hello.
Welcome. I am Sleepy Jace. I have been up forever and I have been super productive and I don't have much left in me.
I am existence.
Hello, CB. Yeah, I wrote 6,600 words so far today. And I was just like, yeah, I'm going super strong and I've got a stream later. And I hit this point like an hour before the stream where I'm like, I could crawl into bed and sleep. And I haven't been able to shake that yet.
See, I just live there now. Like I have a house there. It's unfortunately in a condo with a really bad HOA that's just like annoying about everything.
I'm
But
gonna buy me a condo. I'm gonna buy me a Cuisinart. Get the wall-to-wall carpeting. Get the wallet full of credit cards. I know that song too well.
yeah, I have successfully done absolutely nothing today except for watching Mildred and Mildred and Sophia just be snarky and things that I'd already seen, but I just needed the snark in my life. So
Oh yeah, I got 6,600 words and I advised a client.
I
Not
think
so much advised as said, hey, your new idea is fucking amazing. Yes, go for it.
words that I will never hear. I know what I write. I'm fine with it. I know who I.
I know who I am. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah, I. Yeah. I think today is going to be a very exciting, energetic day on the stream with all of the happy and all of the joy and all of the dancing.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I mean, you can just tell by the energy level that we both have.
This is going to be the day that a timer ends and I just don't come back from it because I'm asleep.
I mean, fair. Oh, speaking of timers and having people that can rescue you, it is official. We are going to be doing a Thursday stream. The Brian officially purchased the extra membership seats in StreamYard so that we can have other people co-piloting while we're running around doing random things in the video games. He has spent money on the thing.
Okay,
Therefore, he really does mean it. It will happen. So
cool. And that's like for me late at night.
yeah, it's probably going to be on Thursday nights because that's what he said.
What did he say? He said, my boy, I think someday you'll find a way. No, stop it, songs. So, CB is dealing with an HOA.
Yeah, fortunately, I only have to deal with the one in my mind that tells me that everything that I do is wrong. So it's fine.
StreamYard is being very weird with the chat, where the last person's thing is cut off by the post a comment. So I have to look over at YouTube on the other screen
Hmm.
to actually see what the final person has said.
That is the weird. But given how StreamYard's been lately, I'm kind of not surprised.
Oh, yeah, I said HOA. I'm tired, CB, so I might throw extra letters into an acronym.
Wait, we're not supposed to be doing that? I thought this was one of those days where we just made the English up.
That too.
And I
I
agree.
might see if I can get more words down, but I might look at the page and just be like,
Oh yeah, I am. I'm not even going to pretend to dream of productivity. Like if it happens, yay! I will throw a little dance party. But
well, I was telling you about some of the naughtier bits of my story, but there are also like non-naughty bits. And this thing that they found, basically it's one of these magical devices that can get you like anything you want, but it's got a lot of bells and whistles and it doesn't actually get you exactly what you want without you knowing every little last in and out of how to work it.
oh, uh,
Like they can pull things out of pictures and make them real, but you take a picture of a stack of money and you can print out the stack of money, but if you keep printing it out, they all have the same serial numbers on them.
all right, got a point there.
So you can't actually get rich that way.
As I say to myself in the mirror all the time, what is the point of you then?
So it's a matter of figuring out how to improve their lot in life without getting caught.
If that's not just painfully relatable. Not saying I can think of a lot of ways to like make money, but like ways that I would not be that I would want my name attached to. That's the real problem.
You got planners coming tomorrow. Awesome. Hiccup.
He's one of the weirdest characters in How to Train Your Dragon. Yes, next. Next topic.
You want to do a sprint?
Sure.
Okay. I
Kind of
have a.
feel like we need to send you psychic coffee so that you'll be here when the sprint's over, but
I am like at the very end of a marathon, just trying to get to the finish line. I have a feeling coffee would make me run way past it. Hey, Megan. Eventually, there it is. I was gonna say because crap that StreamYard's doing with cutting off the final person's comment, I had to wait for it to pop up on YouTube.
yeah, StreamYard's being weird. I feel like they're about to launch a quote unquote new and exciting feature because I feel like it gets really weird just before they do that every time. And then you like find out what it is and you're like, we went through all this for that. And it's kind of like in Valheim where we get all excited and they're just like, we would release an update, but have you seen our horse?
So I don't know if I want to tell you this because it could be a dangerous thing to say, but purchasing of games of Final Fantasy 14 is back.
I know. We Well, see, this is probably going to be a major topic of discussion soon because if we're going to be doing a hubby and me game stream every Thursday, like maybe we should mix up the games a little bit. And I know for a fact people used to come over to the house and watch the two of us play Final Fantasy 14 because apparently it's funny. So, I mean, if we could draw a real life audience to like the meat space that is our house, people might want to watch that on the line, you know?
It's the only Final Fantasy I have. No, I take that back. It's not the only Final Fantasy I haven't played. I haven't played 15 yet, but I've
I've not,
watched it through to the end
yeah, I've
twice.
not played 15 because I do not have a machine capable of playing it.
PC plays it.
Yeah, but my graphics card said no.
Oh,
Yeah.
I watched this one guy play it, and he's one of those ambiguously possibly bi guys, those questionable sexuality guys, where
No idea what you're talking about, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yes, he's like going auga to Cindy because she's got the giant knockers and everything, but he's also kind of got the hots for Prompto and Gladio.
And I get that.
And I very much enjoyed watching his playthrough of that, especially the time when he was like, when he called Prompto a twink.
But is there any other word that describes him?
No, no, I fully agree, but that's not usually in the lexicon of straight guys.
Oh,
So
true. True. This is very true. Oh no, Megan, you're looking for another apartment too? Why is everybody moving?
I don't know. Okay, I need to start the timer because I can't stop yawning and I need to move around. All right, I'm gonna start in three, two, one, go. Okay, it ended.
I was so not prepared to hear the sound of a voice, like not even your voice, just a voice. I just jumped out of my skin. I'm gonna have to put that back on. Thank God my camera's off. Everything's all bloody in here.
It happens. I have that effect on people.
Well, my sense of time being as good as it is, I looked over and I was like, "Oh, I got 5 minutes. It'll be fine." And then I hear you start. I heard voices. My brain didn't even recognize whose voices. I was like, "Who is in my house?" Oh yeah, I'm on a train.
uh, so I got Jello.
Yeah,
Um,
that actually sounds good.
I whipped up a batch of um, it's Starburst strawberry.
Ooh.
Um, it's probably better than I made it. I think I put too much water in, so it's a little diluted. Um, and then I started watching this. It's these two guys on stage that are very, very, very attractive, and they're singing Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, and it gets spicy.
Gaston and his infinite search for a beard.
In this one, he's not trying for a beard. It's
Ooh.
him trying to turn on LeFou, and LeFou is very receptive.
Because it's not hard for me to believe that LeFou is into Gaston. I mean, like, yeah, that goes without saying. But I don't think Gaston was into anyone but Gaston. Like,
True.
I mean, he just brings a whole new definition to self love. You know what I'm saying? Just,
I think it's called narcissism,
yeah.
which is really funny because in Brittany and the Beast, Gaston was played by Jesse.
Purely a coincidence, I'm sure.
Makes you wonder if Todrick was trying to say something before he actually said something.
Like I said, it's just a coincidence. I don't know what you're saying. Like, it's fine. There's-
What? My boyfriend's playing a narcissist? I'm struggling with this Jello.
Well, I mean, if it doesn't fight you a little bit, is it really Jello? I'm trying to fix my lane house that I built in the Valheim without setting myself on fire. This is very fun.
Yeah, it's really easy to set yourself on fire in that game.
Oh yeah, especially if anybody who like has ever watched me play this game, like I'm very adept at setting myself on fire. I almost just set a wolf on fire. That's it, Wolfie. Come on, you're not supposed to be there. Come on, get away from the flames. I know fire pretty, but
But yeah, I was thinking about the Final Fantasy 14, and you said that a lot of it is like soloable, except for
oh
certain
yeah.
parts.
There are dungeons that are required for the story, and you
Hmm.
cannot progress in the game without playing through the story. But they have a group finder that will pair you up with people real quick. And especially now, most of the people that you're going to be paired with have been playing long enough that they just know what to do and just like follow their lead. They will get you through very efficiently.
Part of me doesn't want to do that though. Part of me wants to explore.
Well, that's where putting together your own group would be fun. I really like the story in there. Granted, I have not. I'm a little bit behind in like the full story because I have not played in a while. But I have such a soft spot in my heart for Raban. Like, I'm kind of upset that he's named Raban because it brings up memories from the Dune books of a character by the same name who he is very clearly a reference to for reasons, but he's so not that character, and he's just yeah. His story, let's just say, his story arc gave me all the emotions, and I really liked it. And the Shiva story arc is one of my favorites in Final Fantasy, like all of Final Fantasy.
Wow. But I have to be careful because that is a subscription base. And I'm in a position where I have to really, really, really keep tabs on what I'm spending.
Yeah, and the issue with Final Fantasy 14 is if you like Final Fantasy games, it is the Final Fantasy game that never ends
Hmm.
because they are continuing to unspool the story of this world, and just when you're like, there's no more story to tell, they're like, hey, and here comes the expansion where you're going to be able to go into a new place with new stories that just continue where we've been. Hey,
Hmm.
and I'm not going to say that like all of the stories that they've told have been 100% successful. There's a whole, um, well, part of Thancred's arc I could have lived without just because it feels very. I don't know how to say this without insulting the thing that I love so much, but it feels very Final Fantasy. Like, if you've played a lot of Final Fantasy games, you probably know what I'm talking about. Like, where it's like, well, I mean, if we don't do it, people are gonna wonder if we're okay. Like, it's it is who we are after all. And yeah, I mean, I knew what I was signing up for when I agreed to play this. I know who you are. I've played enough of your games, but it's a very oh, we're doing that. Okay, oh, it'll be fine. It will be fine. I'm okay. But because I played a lot of Final Fantasy games, like there was no surprises. Like you could see, it's that one plot that shows up like every 1.5 games
Yeah.
because of course it will.
Pretty sure I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, okay, it's fine. We're fine.
It's funny because, you know, any Final Fantasy game that I haven't played, I've watched a playthrough of because, I want to know the story. Except for 12. And 12, I have tried to watch someone play it through, and I had to stop. I couldn't anymore.
12 is the only game I never finished.
It does not surprise me.
And I mean, it's half their fault. I mean, they ended up upsetting their entire creative team, so they lost their lead character designer, their lead story writer, and even their music guy left. Nobuo Uematsu left as well, so the music doesn't feel quite right. The gameplay feels very clunky. The character design is like, oh no, we're not recycling this from former games. We promise. It's new. It's new. I mean, there's
Question mark.
glitter on the bunny ears now, right? It's new. There's glitter. Did you see the glitter?
We gave them stumpy, uncanny valley feet.
And it's not the story of Final Fantasy X-2 without the like heart-wrenching romance. No, no, no. That's not what we're doing at all here. It's completely original in that it's not X2 because there's no heart-wrenching romance. So different. Completely new game.
It was so slow. And
Yes.
I was just like, can I not watch this anymore?
Yeah, and playing it is even worse because the texture mapping was so bad and the lighting in the game is terrible. So it's hard to tell where corners are on a lot of the maps.
Hmm.
And so you need to turn either left or right because you've run into a wall. Like you just ran face first into a wall and then you're just kind of like feeling around like I think it's moving forward. Yeah, the texture seems to be changing a little bit. Let's go this way for a bit. Like yeah. 12 was a mistake in every possible way. Kind of like 14 was originally, which is why they had to literally bring in the giant bucket of cash and be like, Sakaguchi sama, please fix our game. Please. Everyone hates it. Nobody wants to play it. Please fix our game. And that's when he came up with the brilliant stroke of having the apocalypse actually happen in game to do the reboot of the story from there, but have the previous game be the before time. And so if you were actually playing it from launch, you would have been there the day that the meteor actually struck and killed everyone, including the character you were playing. That was a playable event.
Guild Wars has something like that, and they did that with their launch as well. Um, Basically, you play the prologue of the game just to get a handle on it, and then there is the thing called the searing, and then you play in. It's kind of like in Final Fantasy VI, there's the world of balance and the world of ruin, which is after Kefka destroys everything. Um, Guild Wars has that, except the world of ruin is the game, and the world of balance is the prologue.
Oh, it was so bad that they couldn't figure out how to get mounts to work in the original 14. And I was playing Rift at the time, and Rift actually introduced its totally not a chocobo mount just to spite them. Everyone got a free giant bird that they could ride just to be snarky. They introduced them in Final Fantasy 14, but they didn't work, and they had to roll them back because they were not. They were. It was bad. Like the fact that Final Fantasy 14 still exists is the testament to the sheer will of Square Enix that oh no, this is not going to be another MMO that flops. No.
Ugh. But the thing in Guild Wars is there's this little flower girl that you meet early on, and if you bring her, I forget what it is. I think it's her broken flute. She'll follow you around for a while, and it's like la la la, and this you know in the pre-searing in the prologue part, and when they went live, they had her like I think she grew giant and rained fire from the sky and killed everybody.
Oh, that's amazing. NCB, it's worse than The Simpsons using old backgrounds. Like they literally used previous story elements and previous gameplay mechanics. Like there are parts of Final Fantasy 12 that will give you flashbacks if you played X2. or 10-2, or I'm not sure what we're supposed to call that game because it was the sequel to Final Fantasy X.
Hmm.
But so it's the Roman numeral 10 as in an X dash 2. I don't know what I'm supposed to call this game. It was fun. You got magic dresses.
It's
I
pretty,
loved it.
pretty, pretty princess dress up.
Oh, it was so much fun. And a good sequel to 10 because 10 to me still has the record of the most heartbreaking ending for a Final Fantasy game. I
Yeah,
wept. I wept at the end of Final Fantasy 10, and I can't hear the Xanarkin theme without getting a little misty eyed to this day.
I also can't. I also wept during the perfect ending of X2
Yeah.
because it was like the full circle, and
Yeah. Mm.
it made me ugly cry.
And I love that that it is the prequel to Final Fantasy VII. It's so few people know that because it makes for such a perfect prequel to Final Fantasy VII.
Is it?
Yep. The little boy Shinra that you run into in course of the game is the founder of the Shinra Corporation.
Hmm.
And if you read if you decipher the, what was it, Alabedo language, his native tongue, it's one of the mini games that's in there, is you can learn to read his language. And if you then read all of the inscriptions and all the books that are in that language, it's about the founding of Shinra and the his desire to make to construct the first Mako facility.
Probably shouldn't do that. Mako reactors are bad.
But yeah, it is a direct prequel to Final Fantasy VII. It's one of the few numbered games that actually connects to one of the other games in the series.
Part of me wants to like do a playthrough of all of them from the beginning, even super boring Final Fantasy One.
Oh, all right, but okay. So here's the thing: do you know why Final Fantasy is called Final Fantasy?
I think I learned it once, but I forgot.
Because this is like my favorite thing that this title convention has stayed around to this day. Square Enix was broke. They had enough money to fund one more game, and if it did not succeed, they were going to have to file for bankruptcy. Like they were done. And as a joke, Sakaguchi named the game Final Fantasy because it was their last hope, their last dream to be able to have a company. Like it was literally their Hail Mary prayer of please let us have a company after this. And it was successful enough that they were able to fund Final Fantasy II, which, if you originally played them back when they first got imported, is our Final Fantasy One. They've retconned the numbers so that they actually match the Japanese games now, but the first one actually imported to the United States as Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy II. And it wasn't until I think 5 came out that they changed the number system to match the one in Japan. But
We got 1, 4, and 6 as 1, 2, and 3.
and yes, CB, that's exactly what happened with Iron Man 1. It was the only character that they had at the time that was not encumbered by deals with other companies, and they were like, we do this and we make money or we die. Which is why all of the original Avengers were the B team. They were the characters that people did not have a strong attachment to before that, which would be Iron Man, Captain America. The Hulk was the one exception, but they actually had to make a deal with Universal to use him.
Did you ever read 8-Bit Theater?
No, I don't think so.
It's a webcomic by Brian Clevenger. It is gloriously, gloriously, horrendously evil and funny. And it's all based on the first Final Fantasy game, where everyone was generic.
Oh,
No one had names. So the names of the characters are Black Mage, Fighter, White Mage.
yes.
And Black Mage is super, super evil, and Fighter is super, super stupid. And oh my god, if you have the time, it is so funny.
I will definitely have to look that up.
There is a child NPC that they keep destroying his life more and more.
No, but very on brand.
Hmm.
Well, brace yourself, CB. Rumor has it that when we get Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, one of the variants we're going to see in that movie is actually Tom Cruise's Iron Man. It's been a very persistent rumor for a very long time that he was brought in to actually play a variant. Yeah. Though it is possible that he's going to be playing Ultimate Iron Man, which means he's going to be the evil Tony Stark. I mean, the truly, like, no holds barred evil Tony Stark. But yeah. I'm just surprised they showed their cards already and revealed that Professor X is going to be in the movie. I did not expect to see that in the trailer.
Oh, for another little teaser, there is part of this comic that so Black Mage actually uses Hadouken as one of his powers. You know, the Street
Yeah,
Fighter move.
yeah.
Um, and White Mage is just like, how do you use that power? Or he's trying to impress her, and he's like, because Black Mage has like this crush on White Mage. He's like, well, it's powered by love. And she's like, really? I I thought you were absolute pure evil. I didn't know that you had that in you. And he's like, yeah, every time I use it, it sucks some of the love out of the universe.
Oh, that's great.
It's just like, oh, you mean it's powered by love that way?
And Megan, I think that would be a lovely idea.
But yeah, that is the type of humor of 8-Bit Theater.
I will have to check this out.
And I also read this blog back when Final Fantasy XI was in its prime, the first MMO version of Final Fantasy. And this blog was from the perspective of Goblin Tinker. And it was his adventures in, destroying adventurers and stuff like that. But at one point in this thing, he has a fling with a Tarotara woman. And he's like, oh, she was amazing in bed. And, you wouldn't believe what they could do. You know the thing when a basketball player puts the ball in his finger and spins it around?
and that's something that I will never forget. Uh, there's not enough eye bleach, mind bleach in the world to make that go away.
You can see why that would stick with me forever.
Yeah, yeah. The
All right.
Lalafell are basically the version of the Tarataru that show up in 14,
Hmm.
and there's a couple very memorable characters. Just gonna leave it at that. Just
I think the Drawfee crew came up with the head canon that Tarotaro is like the racist term for them. They're actually were always called, what was it, the Lalafeller?
yeah,
They were always called that, and everyone was just like, "Oh, aren't you a cute little Tarotaro?" And they're just like, "You racist fuck."
you know, I hate that that kind of makes sense in world, but I can see
Yes,
that.
but you will never not picture them spinning like a basketball now.
Yeah, that will never. That's going to be part of my cursed nightmares from now on. It's going to turn into some like HR Giger style monster that's going to come get me while I'm sleeping.
Oh no, that's when they stack.
Okay, look, honey, my dreams are Giger esque enough in their like pure nightmare fuel. I don't need. It doesn't. My dark muse does not need this assistance.
You don't need a kinky spinning Tarutaru tower. Okay, I am going to get this ready.
Sparkles.
Sparkles. Ooh, ooh. All right, we're gonna start in three, two, one, go. Beepity beep. Beepity beep. Beepity beep. Sleepity sleep.
I may be in the middle of a GIF war with Brian over text message.
I may have started into 8-bit theater again.
Hello, Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
Today is a day of wonders and excitement. You
There's
arrived at just the right time. We're half asleep and dead inside and all around, blah, blah, blah. Welcome to the show.
You got that right.
And hello, Eva. I just wrote us a new theme song.
It works.
And luckily, this isn't on Twitch, so I don't have to worry about it getting clipped by Maggie.
Especially since Maggie's not here.
She's always here, lurking in the background, waiting to make a clip.
Dun dun dun. Oh wow. I am fading. I might have to call it early.
And hello, Persephone.
Hey,
But
Persephone.
everybody's here.
I know. I feel bad. I feel bad that I'm so tired.
Well, how dare you be productive? I mean, how very dare.
I know. For people who are getting here and don't know, I did 6,600 words today. I blasted my word counts to smithereens, and now my body is just like curl up in a ball and sleep.
And I've done absolutely nothing today, and it has tired me out.
People always ask me what time it is when I start falling asleep so early. It's not the time, it's the number of hours I've been up. And I have been up for about 18 now.
Ooh, Eva's been adventuring today. Oh no, Persephone peopled.
Oh, peopling is hard. Peopling is harder than word counts.
Yeah, I think I'm officially done with peopling.
If that were only an option.
Thinking of starting a special Patreon that's just like, please support my hermitage.
I know on Facebook, Fee was talking about um, different sexualities and or how she's thinking she might be, or they're thinking they might be uh, poly, but they're not sure, and it's really challenging and difficult. And I replied with, it's not difficult. Setting your sexuality to hermit.
I mean,
Oh, I Chewbacca yawned.
yes, you
I
did.
have reached that stage.
I'm getting flooded with class emails, and I'm like, did I do something wrong? What is the happening?
Are you no longer classy?
They're preemptively sending things about the next class in the program. Okay. Okay.
So unlike most weeks when it's really hard to make the stream end because everyone's chatting and having a great time and it's past the 2 hour mark, this one I'm gonna fall asleep. So
I completely understand.
I am
I mean, I want to be nasty about it because that's just who I am, but, I understand.
I know it would be really nice to actually get a full night's sleep. That's something I haven't seen in like a week. That's probably contributing to my sleepiness.
Yeah, I can understand that.
We can pretend to be nasty. Just remember, if you do, it's Miss Jackson.
So in the I really need enough money so that I can afford Logic, because there's so many really really stupid mashups I want to be making, but I don't have the technology to make it happen. I may have got a song stuck in my head that's basically a mashup of Sorry Miss Jackson and Nasty,
Hmm.
and it's been in there for like a week. And I really, really like it, and I want other people to hear this thing that is in my head, but I do not have the technology to make it, and I'm very sad.
Oh man, and Aphrodite's here too. And I'm trying to keep my eyes open and it's not working and I'm closing the stream.
I'll give you the warning. If you don't just give in and go take yourself to beddy time, I will start singing the lullaby from Shock Treatment, and ain't nobody need that.
Night, night. It's time for bye-byes. It's been a great day, thanks a heap. Now it's
It's time
time for
for
everyone to go to sleep.
And of course, you always have to end it with, pardon me, is this your bird? Because, it's not a proper shock treatment experience if it doesn't have something jarring in it.
All right. Good night, everybody. Sorry it's ending early, but this boy cannot function anymore.
I'm sorry, the way you said that, I just heard Willem finish your sentence.
This boy is a bottom.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, nurse.